So I would suggest anybody out there, you can say yes to drugs, but say no to Monique.
Well, it looks like DL Hughley is still not happy with Monique. Ugh, this is getting ugly, y'all. Now, I wanted to point out, I noticed underneath his post, Tiffany Haddish actually used the hand clapping emoji like she was agreeing with what he had to say. Now, remember, Monique said this about Tiffany Haddish.
Remember our beautiful sister Tiffany Haddish? Did an interview with GQ magazine, and this, in my humble opinion, is where we keep throwing each other under the bus. You're doing an interview with GQ magazine, and I'm assuming the journalist was a white person. And the conversation turned to Monique. And she said, well, I don't do business like Monique do business, and I'm glad I don't have that husband of hers.
But she don't know your husband.
And when I saw that, it's like, Tiffany, if you had a husband like mine, you may not have 2 DUIs. If you had a husband like mine, you may not be caught up in what looks like you could have been grooming a child. And I say all of that with no judgment. But when you speak about having a husband like mine, you open up the door. And I'm saying to you, if you had one like mine, you may not sit in these positions that you can't explain the next day.
Right.
Or it's a hard way to go. So once again...
Well, she doesn't even have a husband, let alone like yours.
Well, damn it now. You said it.
Let's go ahead and get into the video, y'all.
All right, I'm taking time to respond to Monique again. She made another greasy-ass video with her daddy. We kind of relitigating some of the stuff she said on Club Shay Shay, where she talked about how she was on the show and somebody, they played a game, Would You Rather? And I guess she felt like they insulted her husband's sexuality, which is interesting because she can always talk shit about everybody else's sexuality. But I guess her husband's sacrosanct. He's off limits. But a hit dog will bark unless his mouth is full. But she talked about, well, she didn't actually call her lawyer. Who the fuck would be afraid of your lawyer? Your lawyer, you mean the lawyer that did your contract? That lawyer, the lawyer from the firm of Negro, from Ghetto, Got Him and Gone, that lawyer? Who the fuck afraid of him? He couldn't get your name right on the ticket. He gonna get it right on a legal document. It didn't happen because we decided it shouldn't happen. You didn't need to, because we respect people. We don't have to do things for clicks. They took it off because you asked me to, because I respected you at the time. You also talked about how I disrespect you on so many platforms. But you have this impeccable memory where you can tell to the degree, well, who did what to you and why and what happened, where you were. But you can't pull up one time on any platform that I said anything about you at all, because you know you're lying. You got that piece of paper and that big ass memory, but you can't pull one up. My biggest mistake is saying yes to you. I should have said no when you couldn't come on my radio show. I should have said no that I wasn't playing those dates with you. As a matter of fact, almost anybody who says yes to you at some point is in this milieu with you. Almost anybody. So I would suggest anybody out there, you can say yes to drugs, but say no to Monique. You talked about how my children, families are uplifted. They weren't when you were running across Vegas. The stage in Detroit. They weren't when you talking shit on social media. When you got your ass whipped and your tickets dropped, then they became off limits. But let's do this. Let's decide that you will treat my children like you treat yours, like you don't know them, invisible, like you have no relationship with them, like you're estranged. You're unfamiliar, like you don't know them. You also intimated that I was a coward. You know what I'd never do? I would never let my woman take care of me. I would never let my woman get evicted from her apartment. I would never let my woman has to ask another man for money. I'd never do that. Can your old man say the same? He loves you. Of course, he got to say that. You claim him on your taxes. He's a dependent. He's sitting there with you right now. And everything. Because it ain't like he does anything else. But you never address the salient point. I said that if you spent as much time writing your Netflix special as you did arguing about getting it, it wouldn't have been trash. It was. I didn't say it. I defy anybody out there. Stop listening to me. Watch it. Read the reviews. Read the reviews. You begged for something. You made valid points that women are underpaid, that they're not valued. That's absolutely right. So you would think that when you got a chance to do something that you could argue for, you'd be up for the challenge, but you shit the bed because you never are ready for it, because all you ever do is complain about what you don't have. You're never ready for the moment because you're always living in the past. I said it. If you spend half of your time doing, as opposed to talking about who didn't do for you and what they did for you, you'd be a lot further along. You wouldn't be evicted. You wouldn't be working for your man. You wouldn't be asking other comics for money. So you got all the ingredients. Take that piece of paper that you're running down the list with, and that pen that you got, and that daddy sitting next to you, and do what you can't do what you never do. Write a fucking joke.
Now, it seems like DL Hughley is still mad over the comments that Monique made about his daughter. However, Monique and her husband, Sydney, did clarify what they were talking about when they mentioned his daughter. They weren't trying to trash her or bash her situation. She was bringing it up in light of, hey, this happened to me and my father didn't believe it. So I'm going to go ahead and play that clip for you guys right now if you didn't see my earlier video.
In the past.
You know, when I watched DL say, she went after my wife, she went after my daughters, I want to really be clear who I went after so that there's no confusion here. When I was on stage, when I'm on stage and we are performers, we are performing to the audience in front of us. When I was on that stage and I said it must be hard to perform oral sex,
But differently.
okay, on a coward. That had nothing to do with Mrs. Hughley. That insult was directed straight to you, DL. That had nothing to do with your wife. That was straight to you. So it felt like you were trying to pass it off as if I was going after your wife. When it comes to your daughter, to the baby that you did a post about, you did an interview about, I didn't do that interview. I simply reposted what you said. So when you say, Monique, you went after my daughter, that's untrue, DL. I posted what you said. And then when you said when you were really going for it with your shades on, and you said, Monique said, I stood by and watched my daughter be raped. DL Hughley, that's your conscience talking to you, brother. I never said that. I never said that. And I want to be a little clear about something else. Never would I try to do anything to harm any of your babies, because we got babies too. So never would I try to do anything to harm your children. However, what I was saying to your daughter and to the other daughters out there, I know what it's like for your daddy to know you've been touched and he not protect you, because my daddy did the same thing. That's what that whole point was. But I was showing why I would call you a coward, brother. I don't think it's brave that you didn't protect your baby. So when I said what I was saying, let me be clear to you, DL Hughley, it had nothing to do in reference to your family, and you know that. Now, when you were speaking and you were going off and you said, what did you say? She was so offended by the game we play, but you didn't say what the offense was. And that's the part for me that is disheartening, that you continue to try to trick and smoke and mirror our people. If you're going to say it all the way through. When you say family is sacred, you are absolutely right, baby. You're right. But when you say would my husband rather, and you co-sign your team of people doing that, well, isn't my husband sacred? So you got to be careful in your words, because the very words you use, DL, they're going to come back, and they're coming back to bite you, baby. And what I also said on Club Shay Shay, when I looked in that camera, I said, DL, I love you, brother. And I don't know if you didn't hear that part, but we really do. We love you, brother. And if ever you get courageous enough to want to have a conversation, we're always open to it, because doing that, it shows how our community can get better. When you're wrong, as we have said to you, hey, brother, we apologize on that one.
Yeah.